Hi, tēnā rā koutou katoa, nā mihi nui ki a koutou, ko Mihi Henry-Hatcher ahau, ko Taranaki te maunga, ko Waitotara te awa, Aotea te waka, Pariaka te papakainga, ko Mihi's Place ahau. Kia ora everyone, my name is Mihi. I'm from Taranaki. I have a business called Mihi's Place here in Bell Block. And it is a traditional Maori contemporary healing service. So I do things like miri miri, hono hono, rongoa rākau, whiti whiti kōrero, and a number of other modalities in regards to te ao Māori. Miri miri is a form of massage. Hono hono is a form of energy healing. Rongoa rākau is Māori medicines, creams and lotions. Whiti whiti kōrero is a form of counselling. And there's also karakia, which is prayer, as well as other modalities within that realm. On top of it, I am a fully qualified therapeutic practitioner. I'm also ACC accredited as of 3 weeks ago. So it's a big major move for ACC to recognise traditional Māori practitioners as a provider. So that's been pretty cool. So I do my own products, both contemporary and traditional Māori. I also have what's called a vibro sauna, which is in the other room, and it's a form of stressless exercise without having to run the 5Ks. So I've been practicing traditional Māori healing for a number of years. Prior to this, I was a faculty secretary, and then it was for a Māori organisation, and part of that was I joined the Kapahaka group, and we were a Nāho, which means we were a non-competition group. We went to Tūranga Waiwai and to perform there at the Koro Neihana. And while there, the kuia and kaumātua that were in our bus with us, they saw something in me that I didn't see. And I was asked to, when I came back to Taranaki, I was asked if I would be interested in coming to the marae, and I believe it was Pariaka, Owai marae at first, and then Pariaka marae, and to come and watch and look and learn. And I was hooked the minute I walked in, just watching these elderly people hop off the table looking 10, 20 years younger and looking it, feeling it. And I thought that's a cool thing I want to do. I want to help people like that. So that was the very first day of the rest of my life. And that was 30 odd years ago. It gave me the understanding of who I was as a Māori and as a mother and as a person and as a partner and all that sort of stuff. So it connected me. It gave me a purpose. I went on to learn traditional Maori healing through my marae out at Pariaka. So I learned about the tikanga, the processes, the policies in regards to keeping people safe. So I learnt both the Pākehā side and the Māori side. And I went on to learn from other people around New Zealand as well. And I was probably one of only a handful that was taught this way. So I learnt the very old way. And then I was told that if I walk in the Māori world, make sure I can do it evenly in the Pākehā world. So I signed up to get my first therapeutic papers, to find out that I was given a degree without sitting a degree because I was overqualified. So I became the first Māori woman, but the second woman in New Zealand to receive a degree without sitting a degree. And then went on to get other tohus and other degrees in my field of chosen work that come to that area. Do workshops all over the place. And people come to New Zealand to do workshops with me, so that's pretty cool. But due to COVID, that's all on hold. Last year, I was lucky enough to win the Aotearoa Māori Women's Business Award. So I won the Aotea Award through Māori Women's Development. This year I was fortunate enough to win a International Travel and Hospitality Award for excellence in treatment. So it's the cream of the crop, I guess. You get selected for that international market. All right, so my self-care routine is, prior to COVID, biking 20 Ks every morning, and that was my go-to. Having the rain and the air and the wind and the coldness, just refreshing. And plus on the cycleway, perfect. The scenery changed every day and it was really lovely. It just made you feel alive. After COVID, walking the dogs, not so much riding because I did an injury to my knee, but I'm slowly getting back into it. Vibro sauna, I jump in that a lot because I have to keep myself healthy and well so that I can help clients. And when you're a traditional Māori practitioner, things like you walk the walk, so you can't be seen to walking the walk. You've got to actually walk the walk, because whatever you put into you put into the person you're working with, and it's not a good feel and it's not a good look when come 5 o'clock you got a glass of wine. It's just not it for me. So my ways of learning were the old ways, so that none of that old stigma of alcohol and drugs and all that can be part of your tinana. Yeah, so it's a very clean living. For me, I use all my own products. I love being out in the garden and the bush and just being with nature and listening to the environment. That's my go-to place. And I think we need to have a space, and it could be an hour a day where it's just us, our own space, just to clear our mind, our thoughts, and just get ourselves settled for the day. So I'm up probably maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, depending if I'm going for a bike ride. And that's just my time before I start working with people. Yeah. Because you're no good to anyone if you're not taking care of yourself. Yeah. How COVID-19 has affected myself and my clients. I think it's made me look at life differently. I think I've had to step back and look at the bigger picture of where the Mother Earth is. With all the changes with COVID and pollution and everything. And I noticed when we went into COVID as New Zealand, our pollution levels changed. I noticed the air smelt differently. The plants were growing even weirder. And I think that's because the pollution levels had dropped. There wasn't any cars on the road. People were starting to do the old stuff of walking. And working from home there was no time frame to time, if you understand that. And for us, for myself and my husband, we, even though he was an essential worker, we still, I still stuck to I've got work, so I'd come downstairs and I'd spring clean my cupboards, do stock takes, do all that sort of stuff, so that my mind was still focused on my kaupapa, my work. A lot of my clients, I know they were in need of some sort of assistance. So talking with my husband, I said, look, there's a lot of people that I know that are in need. We were doing meals for people that we know couldn't afford kai or were single and old and couldn't go out. We were baking and doing lots of food and distributing it out to people. A lot of my products, I was making lots and doing little care packages and just putting them in random mailboxes with notes and all that. One of our neighbours in the front, they, during COVID, lost their son a year ago, and then their first Mother's Day was really quite traumatic for them because he did commit suicide. And my husband and I went to every supermarket looking for flowers for them, and we found some. and bought a box of chocolate and took them cakes and biscuits and things like that over, just to make Mother's Day a bit more happier for her. And I think it made her day, because she just didn't want to be around anyone that day. The biggest change in mental health I've seen in my lifetime is that it's no longer behind closed doors. Every single person in New Zealand and around the world has a mental health issue, whether they realise it or not. And a lot of it could stem from childhood behaviours, childhood issues, from past lives. It really depends. But it's more accepted now. And there's more, I think there's more networks that you can tap into as an individual, but just having the right people around to listen, not to talk down to you, but just to sit there and do absolutely nothing. So with my own personal journey through mental health, started prior to becoming a rongoa practitioner, because within this realm you had to deal with everything, because how better can I help someone if I haven't dealt with my own stuff? So it started many, many years ago, and I had to look back over my life as from a little kid all the way through to find out all the issues that affected me to make me be the person I am today, and having to understand it, forgive myself, forgive them. But I'm also really thankful for the life I've had, because it's made me who I am today. I wouldn't be the healer I am today if it wasn't for my life. And it's given me the tools to help others, regardless of the situation, to be able to cope with it better. And when I've, like my own children and that, have all gone through different stages in mental unwellness, from anxiety to stress and tension to self-destroying stuff. So it's been able to help and work with them through it. And my kids, they think that I don't fear anything and that I'm pretty strong and all the rest of it. But as I said before, it's a facade. When they're going through personal stuff, it breaks you to bits. But you've got to be the I'm okay mum, I can handle this stuff, and just support them through it until you know they're over it. Then you can go in a corner and have a quick cry and go get a hug from your husband. And I think the advice I would give to those that need it is to reach out to someone. Doesn't matter who it is, but just knowing that there's someone at the end of the line is a really cool thing, and knowing that they're there to listen and not judge you. Sometimes I get texts from family members saying, that's it, I'm over it, I'm going to do myself in, and it's like, okay, let's talk, and leaving it open for them to start to reach out. So usually I'm just a silent ear and I just listen. Yeah. Sometimes you need that. You need someone to just to let it all out, so that they can have a clearer understanding of where they're at and realise that it's not as bad as they think it is. Yeah. And then when they're ready, just say, right, you're welcome to come jump on my table, or wherever you may be, come home, come chill, come sit, come whatever it may be. Yeah. The way I deal with people that don't understand mental health is put them in different scenarios where they can relate to it, and explain to them that it is a form of mental health unwellness, but just putting it in layman terms and in a way that they can understand it, which makes them think, oh my God, I've had an issue all my life, because they've never had it that way. So that's how I usually deal with it. It's a bit of a reverse psychology, if that's a better want for a word, but it's making them more aware of, be mindful of what you're coming into or what you're going into, and laying the foundations for some of them to give them a better understanding. I work on a Tuesday. Every second Tuesday of the month, I donate my services to the mental health ward. So I go in there with a massage table, all my gears, And anyone can hop on my table. Any one of the clients in there that are unwell can hop on my table. And they see me as a healthy touch, and a healthy, especially in an environment where it's all dark. And I'm like the beacon of light, because I'm the one thing that isn't offering them medication. I'm just offering them 20 minutes on my table just to have a massage. And that makes their rehabilitation or their healing process speed up, and they love themselves, and they can learn to deal with themselves, and they can understand themselves a bit better. But I also open it up to any of the nursing staff because they're having to deal with these situations day on, day out. And so that's my way of saying, look, hop on the table. Let me see if I can help you. I don't think anyone's got final words of wisdom in regards to mental health. I think be aware of what your triggers are, and seeking appropriate help before it snowballs, if that's a better way of putting it. Because a lot of people, for example, anxiety, the fear of going out the door is the biggest task for anyone. So it's about encouraging them to just go to the mail walks. Try that for a day. That could be the biggest step that they've ever done for the rest of their week. Yeah. So it's doing small steps at small times.